Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my privilege today to introduce you to Victor Santiago. How you doing, Victor?
I'm great. How are you?
I am fantastic and I'm so glad you're here, my friend.
Likewise.
Okay, so I'm going to just read a quick biography about you
Okay.
and then I'm going to come back to you, okay?
Awesome.
So, Victor Santiago is a film creator, actor award winner for Best Podcast, CEO of RnL Records, and he's here to talk to us about everything he's doing. So, Victor, I saw your show. You actually have a show as well. So, we're going to talk about all of that, okay?
Okay. Awesome.
So, how did all this get started?
Started a few years ago, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. I can't even catch count. It's been so long. I was doing music first, and then I met this friend of mine, and she was doing podcasting through her phone, and I was shooting my first film at the time, and she interviewed me on her phone, her device, and then she asked me right after she did the interview. She said, "You should try it. You have a good personality. People like you. Blah blah blah." One day I was at the house doing nothing, and I said, "You know what? Let me try it live and just see how it goes." And I started interviewing artists from local area from where I live, and the response that I got from my live was amazing. I see
Okay.
people logging in and commenting and liking my personality. And I was like, wow, I might have something here. I might just have something here. And I said, okay, let me try it again the next day. And I did it again the next day. I got some other artists that was upcoming in my city here in Boston, and I interviewed them. And same thing. People logged in and people were engaging and commenting and asking questions, and the numbers were good. I was like, wow. So I kept doing it and doing it. And then next minute, I'm doing this every weekend, worldwide. I got people from all over the world tuning in, wanting to come on my talk show. And so that's how it all began. And still to today, I'm still doing it.
Oh, fantastic. How many years ago was that you started?
Oh wow, I would say 2018, maybe 19, something like that.
Oh, right on. Right on. So you have the show, and I know that you're a CEO of a record company.
Yeah, RnL Records is something that my kids and I put together. RnL Records stands for Respect and Loyalty.
Respect,
Respect and Loyalty.
respect and loyalty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got it tattooed on our
Oh, I
hands.
love that. Oh, that
Yes.
looks really cool.
Yeah, so it's something, and I got it here too as well on my arm. It's
Oh
a
my
pin.
goodness, look at the tattoos you have. So do they all symbolize something? Everything?
Yes. So
Yeah.
this arm itself symbolizes music,
Okay.
symbolizes music. You can see the piano, you see the microphone. So that represents music. And I love music. My sons love music. We grew up on music. It comes from my family. It runs in my family music. So I wanted to tattoo that to remind me where I come from. And so we did that. So all, my kids, we all have the RNL tattooed on our bodies here on our hands. And then this arm here, I have Mary, and then I have the Green Reaper.
Oh my goodness.
So it just represents the Green Reaper represent a dark place in my life that I was in a few years ago when I was really in a dark place and running the streets and stuff. And then I got Mary here, which represents the light, you know.
Okay.
So coming out of the darkness into the light. So I put the Green Reaper here, and then I put Mary there to remind me that anything is possible in life, and that if you really want to change, you have a choice to change or not to change. I chose to change my life around, and so
So
that's what it
I
represents.
Victor, Success Diaries is actually about that very thing. Started it about a while ago about people who've overcome adversity, people who've gone through tremendous things in life, trauma
Mhm.
and drama, but also people who have turned their lives around. So when you say that, when you turned it around, what kind of made you have that pivotal moment, if you will?
I was in a dark place for a very long time. I was running the streets, doing things that I wasn't supposed to do. I even went. I ended up in prison a few times. And because those are mistakes that I created. A lot of people do make mistakes, and it took me a long time to find myself.
Okay.
It took me a long time, and when I did finally find myself, and I looked in the mirror and I said, "Who am I? Who am I trying to be?" Like I was lost of who I was and who I was trying to be. And just one day, I looked in the mirror and I said, "God, guide me to who I am." And He guided me, and I wanted to become a better person. I wanted to understand who I was as a person, right? And be more respectful to people, learn how to love, right? And in order for me to love someone, I have to start by loving myself and God, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Once understood how to love myself and what it meant to love myself, then I learned how to love others and respect others and listen, become a great listener. And that kind of shift me over to becoming who I am today.
That's fantastic. Honestly, I commend you for doing that. I've had a few people on the show that have absolutely experienced the same thing, being in trouble and having to go to jail, and it
Yeah.
is what it is. And they faced it and said, no, I'm not doing it anymore. And I
Mhm.
commend that because we all have frustrating moments in life where we all take out our frustrations in different ways. And sometimes it escalates into something very serious. And sometimes you have to pull back and say, hey, this has gone too far. And it's not necessarily anymore what the other person has done or said or whatever. It's about you. You have to bring it back to yourself and say, I accept responsibility.
Yeah, yeah. We all have different ways of growing up, different nationalities, different religions,
Sure.
different things that we believe in, and some of us are put in different situations. For me, speaking for me, my situation was very tough. I grew up in a very tough neighborhood, a lot of violence, a lot of drugs. Even like in school was a wreck. So that's all I grew up seeing.
Okay.
So I got accustomed to seeing what was around me, not understanding that there was other things out there to see and learn because I wasn't old enough to venture. If
Okay.
I can, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, it certainly does.
And then when I started venturing and going places and seeing other cultures and seeing other people, I said, "Oh man, this is different. It's not what I see every day at home.
Yeah.
There's other things out here to do." It was confusing at a young age because I didn't want to. I wanted to be this. I wanted to do that. I wanted to do so many things that I wasn't focusing really on who I was as a person.
Yeah.
I was just seeing everything, and I wanted this. I wanted the cars. I wanted the jewelry. I wanted the girls. I wanted the respect, and that's what I was chasing.
Okay.
And that just got me into a whole lot of stuff. And then I figured out years later that wasn't the way things really were. It was all a smokescreen to getting caught up in the system.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and when I started to learn a little bit more about how the system works and stuff like that, I was like, man, this is all a real big scam. And I fell into it.
Okay. So can I ask where you're from, Victor?
I'm from Boston, but I'm originally from Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto Rico. Lovely. Okay. But you're in Boston now?
Yes, I am.
Right on. Oh, excellent. Now, so first, congratulations. You came a long way, so let's give you
Yes.
credit for that. Okay.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
100%. So now let's go to the present today. And you mentioned you have a son too, so you're doing music with your son.
I don't do music anymore. I'm into the filming. I'm doing the
I,
filming thing now.
okay, and I was going to get to that too. So that's on me because I thought you were still doing music too. Okay.
well,
Okay.
well, my sons do the music. They do the music. They run it by me because I got ears for music.
Yeah,
And they say, "Pops, what do you think about it?" I'll be like, "Yeah, that's good. Maybe you might want to do this, you do that. Maybe hit this topic. You gotta see what people want to hear."
sure.
Uh, but another thing I want to show before you jump into the next question is I want to show people this on your show, right?
What is that,
Um,
Victor? Help
this
me
is
out.
this is my award for best podcasting. I got awarded, right?
Congratulations.
And I want to show this on your show, not to brag about it, not to show off, but to show people that anything in the world is possible coming from where I come from, the bottom. So if I can get here, so can you.
Victor, I want you to brag. Oh my goodness, it's so important that you do to the viewers who are going through hard times. Listen, Victor, nobody's perfect. Everybody messes up. Everybody. Doesn't matter. It's just different levels of messing up. And you have come through victoriously. So congratulations on that. You should brag every now and then, just go, wow, I
No,
did
you know
that.
what? I I've humbled myself to a point where, you know, it was great. It was great having it.
Sure.
It just showed me how much work I put into this podcast, that someone actually recognized my work and decided they wanted to award me for my hard work, which is
Absolutely.
great. But I humble myself to it because I'm not a showboater. I It means something to me, but then again, it's just a material thing.
But it also tells people, as you said earlier, to your point, if I could circle back, if
Yes.
you can do it, anybody can do it, no matter the circumstances. It absolutely seems dark at the time, but if you
Mhm.
can see your way through and you have maybe perhaps a mentor, can I ask you, did you get any counseling during that time or did you do this all on your own, my friend?
That's the thing. I did it on my own,
Wow, good
right?
job.
So, and it takes a strong person, strong character to accept who you are and to choose on your own and to fight on your own to become better versus you sitting there with someone giving you advice on what you need to do and what you don't need to do. You, as a person, as an adult, you know what's right and wrong, and you need to know what you
100%.
need to do to better yourself. And so I said to myself, I don't need a counseling. I know what I need to do. I got God guiding me. So I just got to follow his path and do what I need to do for him and for myself and for the people that are watching me through social media and my platforms, that regardless of how my life was and what I've done on the streets, I chose to be better. I chose to help. I chose to become a better person, and not just by talking about it, but also executing what I do.
Oh, absolutely. Well done. Can I ask what your podcast, the name of your podcast, please? And I'm going
Don,
to put it in our show notes too.
okay, it's called the Don Vic Show.
Don Vic Show. And I'll make sure it's in our show notes so that it's out there. So anyone, you'll be able to go ahead and subscribe to Victor's channel. And that's excellent. So let's move on to today, if we might. Then I know you said you did movies, and I actually knew that. Some films because I definitely know Nicole and I watched the show and we talked about that just before the show. So talk to us about what you've been doing.
I'm working on some projects along with my partner Denise Pounds, which is an amazing writer. She's out of St. Louis, and we've been writing films together, which is amazing. We got some great stories for the world to see. Of course, that campaigning for funds is the hardest thing for a film, and that's where we stuck right now. But hopefully, with God's help and great people, we can move forward. But I've been doing films since maybe 2019. I did Don Hazel the Gangster, where I played a gangster. I did Desert Fiends with Nicole Butler Vegas, Saving Anna, The Return of Jay Brooks. I've done a few films so far, and it's great, Teresa, because you get to play characters,
Yeah.
and sometimes you get those characters that is a challenge, right? Or you can say, wow, this person is just like me. And so, how do you play a person that's just like you? Right?
But that's the toolbox that even though it might have been a little bumpy, but you get to use that in your character. It's another kind of guiding you into the right direction. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's great. I want to get into more filming, maybe do some outlaw stuff like Western movies,
Oh, okay.
action movies, maybe some boxing movies, and paranormal films.
Oh, paranormal. I've got a director that does paranormal. He writes a lot of books about paranormal. And I
Yeah,
actually have a couple of them and some film producers on here. So I've had the pleasure of meeting some of them. So,
that's
Victor,
amazing.
you never know, right?
That's right.
It's
That's great.
but
That's great.
now when you'll send me the list of all of this. So as you've been doing the films, I know you said now I heard you saying you're trying to put another one together. Can we give a plug to your writer? What his name is? That okay?
It's her name, Denise Pounds.
Oh, she, Denise.
Pounds, Pound.
Pound?
Yeah,
Perfect.
Pounds.
Okay, so shout out to Denise for the
Mm,
good writing. And
yes.
so as you go forward, have you a trailer for this yet, or are you just in the embryo stages of it?
We in the embryo stages. We're working on getting the teaser done and the trailer for a film called Vampire's Vendetta, which is a kid's vampire film.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. And then we have some other ones, one called Pagan, another one that I'm writing. She's helping me write something that I'm writing, which is a street type of film, like a mob slash gangster film, which is interesting, right? Because some of the stuff that I wrote in this film is based on true events, right?
Oh,
Like
okay.
stuff that happened in my life, but eventually I can't really talk about everything I did. So I got to mix with some fiction with some true events in this film
Sure.
because I want people to know that regardless of what who you are, can no one point the finger and say, Teresa, you're a bad person because no one knows what you're going through in life. No one knows Teresa's situation or where you've been put in. And so you live that life. And for a person to judge you for the things you've done, it's not right because they don't live that life you live. And it doesn't make you a bad person. You just got dealt a bad hand, right? And so in this film, what I want to show is that, okay, this is this person, this is the life they're living. But when you see them at home, they're not that person.
No.
So it's a choice that they have in their life that they have to choose, and they chose that life, or it was dealt to them, right? So
Okay.
they got to live that life and find a way how to get out of it. So at the end of the film, I want to show that this is who you were, this is what you lived, this is what you did, and you've been through. But at the end of the day, you chose to change your life to become a better person, right?
Yeah.
And we can't erase what we've done because that's something that you have to go through in life so that you as a person can tell a story to the next person that's going through it and show them how you survived it, how you overcame it, and how you became better.
I agree with that. Well done, Victor. Because, and it doesn't matter what age. You can go through things when you're young, when you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, up to your 80s. You can go through absolutely everything at different times. And you know what? We all don't handle things sometimes that well. So sometimes things do get out of hand, and it's okay. Now, I wanted to add, as you were talking, I was thinking, Victor, sometimes we're our own worst critics too. We
Yes.
think I'm so bad, I can't change. This is just the way I am. And that's not true. You get to say, okay, I made a mistake or I did something that wasn't acceptable. I accept responsibility, do what you have to do, and then come out the other side. And your movie will be absolutely perfect for anyone that goes through anything at any time. They can learn how to muster that strength and say, okay. And as you said, you found God, and you said the I'm thinking your source or whatever you call them, it is there for you, and that matters. And I think everyone needs someone or something to have as a mentor to get through it. And you would be a wonderful mentor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And like going back to what you were just saying, we are different. We all have different personalities and we all go through different things. And we do have a choice to be better or bad or worse, however you want to put it. But there are people that are just evil. You have the people that are just evil people.
They
But
are.
when you're an individual that have a choice, right? When
Yeah,
you have a choice and you acknowledging that you do have a choice, that's the challenge, right?
that's right.
Because now you have to choose. But when you're just an evil person, and that's when you're just evil, you don't have a choice because that's who you are as a person. So it's going to be harder for you to make a transition to become better because you just want to be evil.
Exactly. And if you don't feel bad about it,
Mhm.
then yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah. So those people are just stuck in a dark place, a dark world, and usually end up either dead or in prison. But individuals like you and I, ordinary people every day that we make mistakes and we conscious of what we're doing and we know it's a mistake, we try to fix it or make it better.
Exactly.
So we have a choice.
We do. Everybody has a choice.
Yes, we all have a choice.
And we still have choices. And we're reminded every day that you have to look at life and say, okay. And the other thing I might add, Victor, when you were younger, you were looking at life through glasses, if I will, of darkness, of things that were not good. And as you saw a different world, those glasses kind of change.
Yes.
You get where I'm going with that metaphor.
Mhm.
As people try to look through those channels, they have to realize that sometimes you're just looking at through the wrong lens. So
Right.
try to see it from someone else's view. But you're right, inside, if you don't have that love and kindness and caring, you're not going to be able to get through it. So you got to work on yourself first too, right?
Always. Yeah. I think that's the biggest job is to work on yourself because you said it. We're not perfect, right?
No.
And we will never be perfect. But to at least try
Yes,
to be the best you can be, it's okay. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
It's okay. And for me, changing my circle, right, was a big thing for me. I had to change my circle and create a new family, a new team that were looking or seeking what I was seeking for to better myself, to grow, to be able to help others and to love others. I had to change my circle. So a lot of friends that I had, I let go. I don't even have any connections with them. And I'm okay with that
Yeah,
because see, what they got to understand is that I'm a changed man. And maybe at one point in my life, I was that guy, right? I was that guy because I ran my city for 10 years, right? I was the boss of my city for 10 years. So changing over to who I am today, they got to understand that I wanted better for me. You know,
yes,
I didn't want that. It was all good and dandy when things were great, but that's not what I wanted. I still didn't knew who I wanted to be. Do I want to be this big gangster or do I want to be a good guy and help people and love people? And I chose love. I chose love. So that's why I transitioned over to the Don Vic Show. And I've been helping people, connecting people, going into films, meeting superstars, acting with superstars. So it's a great feeling, but it's also a learning experience for me and for those that are watching me that know who I was back then that are watching and see, wow, if Victor can change, I can change.
exactly. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much for sharing that too. Now,
Well,
where do you see yourself in 5 years, Victor?
that's a great question. We're always hoping to be in a better place. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to give you an answer to that because I don't have the answer to that.
That's fair.
What I can give you is that wherever God takes me, that's where I'll be in 5 years.
Perfect. That is the perfect answer, Victor. Perfect. Now, I really appreciated our time today.
Thank
I'm
you.
wondering if you would come back on another episode down the road and we
Sure.
can see where you're at. Would that be all right, Victor?
That'll be amazing.
Thank you. I really, truly enjoyed our time today. I'm going to make sure your podcast's on here and we'll get the biography about you of all the movies and things that you've done, and also those trailers that you have out there so everyone can certainly go to them. Okay.
Awesome.
Great.
Great. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you again, Victor. And to everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I do hope you're having a great day. Subscribe to my channel. I truly appreciate that. And go over and subscribe to Victor's channel and take a look into that podcast of his. And I appreciate your time. I hope you have a great day. Thank you again. Bye bye.